Today on Tips from the Top Floor, I've brought Monica back again to, among other things, discuss why New Zealand's mailboxes might be one of the big creative outlets over here. And we're also going to why she hated her sheep shearing photos and how she's planning to get around that. This is Tips from the Top Floor 853 for January the 25th, 2019.
Tips from the top floor, tips from the top, alright, from the top floor.
I'm here again with Monica.
Hi there.
And we are still in New Zealand, and we have had several places we stayed on the way. And this one is an old historic house somewhere in the middle of the South Island, and it's from do you know the year? 1867 or something along those lines. Yeah. Beautiful place. I mean, these are the things you will never get if you stay in hotels. That's a bed and breakfast, and the place is so thoughtfully restored with so many details that it's a real joy spending a couple of nights here.
Yeah, apart from the details is actually the shape of the house and how the rooms are ordered within the house is especially. It's really typical to old houses. All rooms are basically in one line. It starts, you enter the house into the former kitchen. Former kitchen. There is a very old wood stove,
which is now it's sort of an eating room, right?
Yeah, it's an eating room, and there's still the very old stove in there where everything has been cooked, and that also heated the kitchen. And then to the right, there are two sleeping rooms.
But they're
bedrooms, both in one line. So they have only one. Yeah, you have to
go through one bedroom to get into the second one.
Right. And if you leave the eating room to the left, you come to the lounge. That's how they call it. It's basically a living room, a small one, with an open fireplace and a piano and everything. And then you leave the cottage to the back. You have the now newer kitchen as well as the two, the bathroom and the toilet room. So, and then there is the garden, and it's really tiny. All the rooms are tiny. In both bedrooms, there is actually space for. In the one it's a double bed, a queen size bed, and the other one two small singles. And all the rooms are basically...
And not much more space.
Not much more space. There is no room for a cupboard or something else. So even the lounge room is... There are two sofas in here and the piano, and that's basically it, what fits into the room. But it's nice. The shape is nice, and it's also beautifully put together here with vintage linen and...
Lots of attention to detail, and it shows us a side of New Zealand that is long over, and it's also between different touristy things we've done. It's a very nice place to relax. They have a hot tub in the back, so out back, so that is very nice. And in general, I mean, we're enjoying this. New Zealand, not quite at an end yet. We still have about a couple weeks to go.
Two and a half.
2.5 weeks to go. And we're making our way slowly further south. We will soon be at the very southern tip of the South Island. And again, in the middle of nowhere. But it's a good experience. It's really, it's a very relaxed people here. We have a few findings, a few things that we noticed that I think we haven't talked about yet last time. One is, and we've traveled a lot, but what we found in New Zealand is the land of public restrooms.
A lot of them. So I have recognized that sooner when I traveled through Scandinavia, where you have a lot of people traveling by boat. So in the harbors, you have always public toilets. That's absolutely something where you can bet on that in each and every harbor village or city or town, you have at least 2 or 3 public toilets in and around the harbor. When traveling North America, you really have to look hard for them. There are no public toilets in a lot of areas. New York City is especially bad in this regard. But here in New Zealand, each and every little village, township, place has public toilets, and you find them very easily because you see the signs along the streets and everything.
They're clean. They're well maintained.
They're always free.
It's easy to travel.
It's easy to travel.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that most of the public toilets are unisex toilets, so not female or male, but all creatures welcome.
You mean like in your home?
Like in your home, yes. Yeah. It's something that is not so common in Europe.
Uh-huh.
And that's something I think is very inclusive here. A lot of the toilets are also barrier free to enter.
Yep.
So yeah, that's a good thing.
So what else did we notice? Well, of course, one of the first things we noticed when we arrived is the vegetation. New Zealand is amazing, and the one thing that always sticks out here is the trees. Mm-hmm. This is true for the North Island, but it's even more true for the South Island.
Yeah, we talked about that, I think, during the last podcast. It's absolutely stunning what you see in trees here. When you cross the Southern Alps, you see more vegetation that you are used to. We have
pine trees.
Pine trees and was in den Buchen?
I don't know.
Birch? No, I don't know the name in English. So sorry, but you also have, on the other hand, of course, the ferns, the tree ferns, and certain pine trees you do not have in Europe, nor do you have them in the States. And that's interesting. And even in the Alps, the size of the trees is just amazing. Even higher up,
they grow big and they grow fast. At least faster than in many other places. One thing we learned up on the North Island was the sequoia trees that grow in California and also grow here. The ones that grow here, if you cut through one of them, you see the year marks, the rings, being much bigger here, so they grow faster in the year, and that apparently means that the sequoias here are classified as softwood.
Yep.
They are much softer than the ones up in California, which are, I think, classified as hardwood.
I think so. Yes. So that's
the same tree can be soft or hard depending on where it grows and how fast it grows.
Yeah. And then there is the thing with the massive hedges they have around here. Each and every estate or sheep station or, I don't know, farm, whatever, is surrounded by hedges
that are 10 meters high,
yeah, I would say
10 that are almost 30 foot high hedges. And they aren't hedges as we know them back home. They are made from trees.
Yeah, they cut trees into hedges that I have never seen in that form. It's really
massive.
Interesting. Massive pine trees cut into hedges, and a lot of trees where I don't know the English name.
I would want to see the hedge trimmer that they use for that.
Yeah, we have seen one today, but you just took a nap while I was driving.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but really, really, really massive. I think it's actually to fight the strong winds they have up here.
Probably.
So
hedges also provide some noise protection, some visual protection, privacy and so on.
Whatever, but some of the hedges are far away from houses. So I think that is not about privacy. It's about maybe
there's strong winds here.
The strong winds. Yeah. And what we haven't mentioned, when you drive along those hedges and the streets, where somewhere back there are the houses, what you easily see and recognize is the really colorful post boxes they have here. The
mailboxes in front of the houses at the road.
Yeah.
Very, very, very much. There's a difference between Europe and the mailboxes here. Just because our houses are usually much closer to the road. Here they are often set back, same as in many places in the United States.
Yeah.
So you have the mailboxes out on posts as people from the US are used to. But the variety.
It's absolutely amazing. Sometimes I think some of them might be projects in school.
I don't know.
That they do in art class or whatever.
So creative.
We had rockets as a mailbox, ships, trailers,
big bees, milk cans,
sharks, milk cans, microwaves. I don't think we have
an oil drum.
Right, an oil drum. So basically everything that you can think of. The more colorful, the better.
It is really one of the big, seems to be, and please, if you're a Kiwi, let us know if that's true, seems to be one of the big creative outlets here to make a fancy mailbox.
Yeah.
So that another thing that showed interesting levels of creativity where the walk signs, the pedestrian walk signs at traffic lights. Now, we are from Germany, so for us, our normal "don't walk" sign in the US, it's "don't walk and walk," so it's just written there. In Europe, it's a little red person
figure
on the top, and then a little green person on the top, and the red person stands there, and the green person is a pictogram of a person walking.
Okay. Right. We have two different, actually, from East Germany and from West Germany. So they are different historically.
Yeah, and here, when we arrived in Auckland, it was like back home, like the red little person stands there and it just stands and it's red and you wait and then it turns green. And in Auckland, that green one was an animated green one. It was made from little LED screen sort of thing, and it walked. And we thought, oh, that's cute. We have to take a photo of that one day or a little video of it. But we didn't, because we thought we could just do it in another place. And then we started traveling the North Island. And the next place we stayed, it wasn't that animation anymore.
No. And there was, I'm not sure where I recognized it. I know that in Wellington, I saw a different animated figure for the green light.
For the walk sign?
There was a dog involved.
Yep, they had a dog on a leash.
Right. And in Wellington, I also saw the first traffic light where the green person was female, or was supposed to be
female. Had a dress on.
So the red one was still or unisex or non-gendered version.
Yeah.
And the green one was looking like a female person.
But it was so fun to see that. And then we, in total, we saw probably 5-6 different
not
others.
That many, 4, I would say. But yeah, very, very interesting and very special.
But we didn't begin documenting that in the beginning, so we didn't continue it. I think you took one photo of it. But that would be something to look out for. We haven't seen... Well, I don't think we haven't really seen any traffic lights here on the South Island yet.
No, only roundabouts.
No pedestrian lights, at least none that I can remember. But up on the North Island, that is something if we come back, that's something I want to take a closer look at. What else? Oh yeah, and we will get into photography in a minute. Sorry for the interruption. Just a quick word about this week's sponsor, HoneyBook. Do you own a small business frustrated by dealing with back and forth emails, endless paperwork, and getting paid? Honeybook.com can help you spend less time handling the administration work and more time doing what you love. HoneyBook is an all-in-one business management platform for creative small businesses. HoneyBook makes it easy to streamline your process with client and calendar management tools and custom branded brochures, proposals, and contracts. You can even get e-signatures, generate invoices, and get paid faster, all with one online system. Over 75,000 photographers, designers, event professionals, and other solo entrepreneurs have saved hundreds, if not thousands of hours a year with HoneyBook. And that's why this little show has partnered with honeybook.com to offer TFTTF listeners 50% off the first year of HoneyBook with promo code TOPFLOOR. So get started at honeybook.com today and use promo code TOPFLOOR for 50% off your first year. Again, that's honeybook.com, promo code TOPFLOOR. And I thank them for the support.
And today we had a lot of interesting cars crossing our way.
True. On the way we drove somewhere, and there were lots of cars coming the other way that were vintage old timers, 50, 70, 100 years old, of Rolls Royces and Fords and whatever, Bentleys and stuff. And we asked someone, and they said, well, there's a lot of clubs here. New Zealand is
old-timer country.
Old car country.
Yeah.
You see them at the side of the road sometimes, just standing there. In Germany, there are a lot fewer than here. That really was interesting. And then there must have been some event. So today we saw,
they all had
20, 30 of them at
30,
least.
Yeah. They all had a number behind their windscreen.
Sign on them,
signs. Yeah. I think they're part of an old-timer rally or something like that.
Yeah. Photography-wise, I'm not sure. Did we talk about this last time? We went to Sheep Station, which is a big sheep farm. In that specific case, it was like somewhere between 10 and 20,000 sheep. And a listener, Paul, thanks a lot for organizing that for us. Organized that we could go there while there were sharing sheep and photograph there. And it was nothing touristy at all. It was them working. So there were 5 people sharing sheep. How long did it take per sheep? Maybe 40 seconds?
Definitely under a minute. Some were a bit quicker, 40 seconds, other more close to a minute. But that was amazing, yeah. And the sheep looked relatively relaxed.
They were quite relaxed. The sheep, they kind of hold them between their knees and legs.
They roll them around,
and then it really is amazing. They have loud music on, and then there were a couple of ladies with squeegee kind of things that sorted through the fleece, through the wool, and sorted the more dirty stuff into one side, and the stuff that went into the big bales to the other side. And we were always in the way, so we were told off several times. But we were allowed to stay there for a while and take photos. We'll put some of those online. I do my best to put a link in the show notes, which was a great experience. So thanks for that. Another listener, also named Paul, invited us.
I want to talk about the photography a bit, because just to let you finish the sheep part.
Yeah.
Although I think we had that in the last podcast, but for me it was something.
It's a different experience for you right now.
It was a different experience. Normally, some of you might know that I go analog. A lot. I should film
almost exclusively.
Yeah, right. Even when I travel. So the last time when I've been to Ethiopia, I only had my medium format 6x7 Pentax, the Beast, with me. I still have that camera with me, but it had a few problems during the last month. So I had it in repair twice, I think.
Yeah.
So, and when we went for the sheep session, I thought, okay, I take my digital camera with me, my Nikon 601. And although I still know how to operate that thing, it is still a different experience for me to shoot digital again.
What's different? So again, you've been shooting the Pentax 6.7, not the Pentax 6X7, but the Pentax 6.7, which is the newer model, which is a workhorse, we call it the Beast. It's a medium 6x7 camera. It's a bit of a diva sometimes, but once you wrapped your head around it,
I had never problems with this camera. It was the most trusty camera I ever had. So
it's a DSLR. It's an SLR, but a big one, as in medium format. So when you hold it in front of your face, your head almost disappears behind it. It has a light meter built in, but no automatic settings whatsoever. So you check the metering, and then you adjust aperture and actually the time and the shutter speed.
And nothing, the camera does nothing automatically. So I have to look for everything. So that makes you a bit slower. It's also, of course, manual focus camera. So, and when going for the sheep now, I decided, okay, you take your DSLR, and on the one hand, there is a different, what's the word? Different aspect ratio.
So
you have to look in a different way to really frame the
DSLR
pictures.
is 3x2,
yeah,
and 6x7 is just is closer to the square format.
Right. So that was something that I had to get used to again. And of course
How long haven't you used it?
I mean, I use it every now and then when I do product photography, but not.
But for a reportage type photography, probably not in years, right?
4 to 5 years ago,
Yeah, okay.
I would say. I bought it before we went to the last track we did, the Gokyo track. So it has been some time until I used it properly. So, of course, I shot a lot of my pictures in burst mode because the shearers are moving fast, the sheep are moving. So what I first had
It's really a rustle and bustle there.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I had to get used to is to sort out through all those pictures and not to expect that every shot is a good one. When I shoot a roll of film, in my 10 pictures go on one roll on the 6x7, and normally my keeper ratio is
At least half.
I would say. Yeah. This is absolutely
So
not
you shoot 10 shots on a roll, and 5 of them are good photos.
Yeah.
And every digital photographer needs to know that when you shoot film, your keeper ratio will go up dramatically.
Absolutely.
With a DSLR and that type of a photography, the mindset is shoot more and spend more time sorting out the bad ones, weeding out the bad ones later, and then you might end up with I don't know, 1% maybe?
Maybe, yeah. And that when I first looked at my pictures, I was bummed. I mean, I was really frustrated. There is nothing in there. I told you, I don't think I have any good pictures from that shearing session.
Took you getting used to the process again, the workflow again.
I was really sad about the result, and I said, well, I don't like the colors and I don't like the contrast, and that is something I had to get used to again. That to a raw picture, you have to do much more development, and you have to really, more steps to go to from a raw picture to a good picture. In film, I have so many decisions I took before I even take the camera with me.
When you load the roll of film, you are making decisions about post-production because the post-production, the post-processing is already built into the film.
Right, yeah. And when I load the film, I also know already how I will be processing it in terms of what developer will I use, what times will I use with this developer and this specific roll of film. So a lot of decisions they're already in the can, so to say. So I actually know what my result is going to be. Yeah. And this is not true for my digital photography. So in the end, I chose to switch a few of the pictures from color to black and white. And then I felt much more in my comfort zone because I actually know how I want my black and white pictures to look like. So in the end, I had an outcome from maybe 10 to 12 quite good pictures. And I might not have taken so many as you have taken. So in the end, it was not that bad, but I really had to work also on my attitude towards those pictures to see that, well, the result is not that bad, and it might even be on the same level.
Same amount of photos that you ended up. Honestly, I mean, we spent 45 minutes in there, maybe an hour maximum, and it was difficult because we were in the way a lot, and they needed to do work. These guys work, and the girls work hard, and
they get paid per sheep.
They get paid by the sheep. So it's something along the lines between 2 and 3 New Zealand dollars per sheep. So they work quickly. We did the math. 5 of them in parallel will probably share about 2,000 sheep a day. So, do the math. They make quite decent money, but they don't need anyone in their way. So it was hard to get to the good spots because we were always in the way. And I shot a lot, but I ended up just weeding out so many that I probably ended up with 3-4 shots from that session that I consider worth showing. And the same for you. I mean, you might have had 5, maybe.
I might keep 10 to 12 that I keep because I think they are okay shots.
But how many would you show in public? Maybe 5.
Yeah, maximum of 5.
Which is, if you look at your film, half of a roll of 10, right?
Yeah, right.
So you end up with the same amount of photos. You just take a lot more photos to get there.
Yeah, and that feels so wrong to me. And this is really something. I mean, I even hesitate to switch on the computer and transfer the pictures. I'm afraid to look at the pictures. Whereas whenever
because it doesn't make you feel as good as you do with film.
Right.
Yeah.
Whenever I take my rolls of film out of the last bath and dry them and put them onto the scanner, there is so much more joy involved looking at the pictures and saying, oh, well, there's a nice one and there's another nice one. So it's
film has a lot more satisfaction built in.
So much to give. People shoot more film. Film is awesome.
All right. Well, we're still looking at getting that Pentax 6.7 repaired. If anyone out there, by the way,
it has been repaired. It has been so I'm able to take it out to.
But it doesn't behave.
It doesn't behave the way it should behave. So in the end, when the film comes to an end, so the last 2 pictures, it behaves differently than it should do. And
in the way it transports the film and so on.
Right.
And you're on the verge of buying a second one just to.
Yeah, I will definitely buy a second one just to be sure that I have at least one that is always functioning how it should. The thing is that I had this camera for 10 years almost, and only during the last year it's giving me a hard time. Since I had this splash of salt water.
Damage, yeah.
Yeah, right. And since then it's
been repaired twice now. If anyone listening to this, if you have a Pentax 6.7 lying around, let us know. We might be interested.
Yeah, right. And I'm already looking at the cameras in Japan because it's normally
it's Japanese camera. You might be able to get it from there.
Yeah, and buying from eBay eBay Japan is normally not a big problem. I've done that for fountain pens and also for a large format lens, and everything was pretty awesome. The quality was high. The things were clean in a good working condition.
The sellers were reliable.
Absolutely. So I'm thinking about looking into the Japanese market to get a 6.7 or maybe even a 6.7 II.
Which is the latest model?
Which is the latest model that has also
with
aperture.
the lenses fit?
Yeah, the lenses will fit and it has aperture priority mode built in. So that right. So this might then be an upgrade, but I would totally be fine with a 6x7 of the later models.
So the Pentax 6.7.
6.7 from the late 80s with mirror up. That would be my preferred model. Yeah.
Oh, it has mirror lockup, which you don't really need because that's just one of the features.
Yeah, but it's one of the features that the later models have. Yeah. That's why.
Which is interesting. A lot of people say you have to use mirror lockup on that camera. You have to shoot it from a tripod. And
not at all.
And the camera is heavy and so stable, so solid that I've seen photos that I couldn't believe that you shot
half a second
from your hand with half a second and
reasonably sharp.
Yeah. A quarter of a second, no problem whatsoever. Yeah, it's
an awesome camera. It's just it's my point and shoot. So
it's your tiny little point and shoot for your tiny little handbag.
I think everybody has a camera where
it's
an extension of your arm, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
So where you know the camera, where you know how the look will be of the pictures, and just the camera that helps you see things.
Yeah, don't. It's also pretentious to say to fulfill your vision, and
no, it's not. It's not that.
It's not that. But
pathetic. It's the camera that fits for you. It's like a good.
It's a glove.
One shoe or something.
It's a glove.
Yeah,
it's a glove, and it does what you want it to do, and you know how to make it do what you want it to. What you want it to. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially there are not too many features that can get into my way. So
that's another thing. Yeah, I do see that sometimes with photographers around me, that they spend so much time searching for features in the menus or trying to figure out how to do something with a camera that they miss the shot. And I've never seen you do that. It's usually
not with this camera.
One or two things you do with usually exposure and focus, and that's it.
Yeah, right. I mean, there's basically nothing more that you could do with this camera. So it's about the basic things, but I think those basic aspects are what makes a good photo.
Yeah.
In the end, it's the same when I operate my large format camera. It's the basic stuff that helps me develop a good picture. Maybe I'm too complicated. I don't need a complicated camera.
You said that. Okay. I think that's it for this little discussion. Thanks everyone for being tuned in, and thanks, Monica.
Yeah, bye.
Oh wait, before we let you go, we forgot someone. The other Paul that I mentioned in between. That was in Wellington.
Right, Wellington was
beautiful.
Was beautiful. It was certainly an experience, and it was really sad that we only had basically one day in Wellington.
Well, yes, absolutely. All Wellingtonians are right to shout at us now because we only planned one day in Wellington, but that's just the way it worked out, and it will give us a reason to come back because Wellington definitely has more to offer than just one day. But I wanted to mention Paul because that's a different Paul from the Paul who took us to the sheep shearing. This Paul invited us and took us to a concert in
the park.
In the park, there's the botanical garden, and at the bottom of the botanical garden, there is the sound shell, which is a little stage and a lawn in front of it, and people in summer gather and bring their picnic blankets, bring their picnic baskets,
bring their kids,
not
to eat them, but
no, they bring proper picnic stuff, and then there's a free concert, and this time I forgot the name of the band, but it was
a funk band,
funky fusion type of music, which I really like, and you too.
Yeah.
And Paul and his wife, whose name I unfortunately forgot, sorry for that, they brought picnic food and drinks and wine, and it was just an amazing, beautiful evening with live music and in great company. And we just wanted to say thanks, Paul.
Thanks, and thanks to the Wellingtonians also. You make for some great party people. That was really amazing. There was a dance floor right in front of the stage, and this dance floor was filled
within seconds. Within seconds.
Yes. Yeah, with people of all ages. I mean, there were 2-year-olds jumping back and forth, and also teens and
retired people. Everyone was dancing. Yes.
Everybody was dancing. It was really a big party from the beginning, and chapeau, I have to say.
So, thanks again, and I'm pretty sure we'll be back one day. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
You won't talk about this, you won't talk about that.
All right, and that was finally it. If you liked the episode, let me know by giving tips on the Top Floor Radio on iTunes. Little thingy with the stars, you know how this goes. It just helps the word of mouth. It just helps TFTTF to be visible, and that's important for the show to continue. And again, thanks everyone who listens and subscribes. You guys are the reason we're doing this. Music for the show by Jeff Smith, silent partner Hans-Peter Kagerud, publishing and Slack challenges by Release Pixie, Matt Refseder Armstead, Slack invitations by Chief Invitation Officer CIO Rusty Russ, and the link to get on the Slack is in the show notes.
I remember
My name is Chris Marquardt. You'll find me on social media at Chris Marquardt. Go out and take amazing photos. Share them with the world. Be nice to each other. And happy shooting.